I'm so glad to see so many of you here. It's very rarely do we see the entire Ummah along with the whole Muslim community coming together for an event, even though it is so horrible what's going on that it had to bring everyone together. I want you to imagine the people that you see in Walmart. They're called the Hutterites. Everybody knows who the Hutterites are? You do, right? You see them, either they're wearing a different kind of clothes. When they speak to each other, they speak a different kind of language than regular. They speak this old German language. They came here hundreds of years ago, but they still kept their language, they kept their clothing, they kept their culture. That's kind of what the Rohingya is in Myanmar. The British, during that time, there was so much of moving of people around that they went there 150 years or more ago, but they decided to keep their language. They decided to keep their religion. They decided to keep their culture. And move forward, 1982, all of a sudden imagine there's a referendum in Canada and they decided that, you know what? We're not going to call these Hutterites any more Canadians. We're going to take their citizenship because, oh well, guess what? They don't speak English. They're not from our religion, or maybe they look different. And then imagine if that ever happened to any country based on their religion, their race, their culture. They'll be just deemed that you don't belong to this country, you are not a citizen, I'm going to take your citizenship away. How is that ever fair? Forget about fair. That just negates the basic human rights of every citizen. And that's what happened to these guys. And when they took their citizenship away, guess what else followed afterwards? They did not have to give them any schooling. They did not have to give them any access to health care. So they were left in their own villages, trying to provide services for themselves, trying to protect themselves because they have been otherized, because they are no longer considered Burmese citizen. It's so easy when you otherize that person that I'm going to now go and do whatever I want with whatever is making me upset. I'm going to forget that I'm a peaceful Buddhist, and I'm going to go and become an extremist, and I'm going to go and kill and pillage you because I'm going to blame all my problem on you. We saw what happened last year. We were here, right here in City Hall, protesting when boatloads of Rohingyas were trying to make their way to Malaysia, to Thailand, to wherever they could, all the way to Indonesia. We were right here protesting when we saw those boats people were falling out of it and drowning, and countries weren't giving them any refuge. And finally, this happens now. I want to tell you what I've been hearing on the ground. They're saying when they started escaping, or starting August 25th, when they started escaping, they were holding off the men and the youth because they wanted to keep them and torture them. And one person told me this is how they tortured them. They throw them in this very dirty washrooms, keep them for days onwards. They cut their hands, they cut their fingers, they take off their nails. They will keep on torturing them, and then they'll kill them in the worst possible way. This is not just a simple genocide. This is textbook genocide in the sense that I'm going to scare you so bad that you will not return back to Myanmar. And when they ran from their villages to the rice fields, they started burning everything down. Village after village, house after house. People got whatever they could that was left after the burned villages, somehow take it, and they ran. And they walked for 5 days, for 10 days, till they finally entered Bangladesh. And now they are there. Over 370,000, 20,000 that are walking every single day. Every single day, 20,000. Do you know what has been happening in Bangladesh for the last few weeks? It has been battling the worst of floods in the north. The worst of floods. The entire north of Bangladesh is working towards flood rehabilitation, where all of a sudden this refugee crisis broke out in the southernmost. Bangladesh is one of the poorest and most populated country in the world. But people left everything that they're doing, along with doing the flood rehab. The locals got out and they started helping the Rohingyas. this is what happened. I started listening to people in the deep, deep jungles of Bangladesh. Guess what? No aid is going there. There is no foreign aid. There is no medic team. There is not even a single government volunteers in the new unregistered camps that have come up in the deep jungles of Bangladesh. That is why I've decided to go to Bangladesh on Monday morning. As you know that I have helped out so many different refugees in here for the last few years. And over all these years, I have tried and helped as many newcomers, low-income Canadians, being born in Chittagong, growing up in Chittagong, and hearing the language that these Rohingyas speak, which I understand. It broke my heart to hear their misery. And I said, I'm not going to be sitting here anymore and not doing anything. I'm going to make sure I go there myself. I created the team over there, and I hope you can financially support this. I'm going on the 11th of at 11 a.m. Monday morning. Please, we have a box here. Do whatever you can to donate. It is a very personal mission for me, but I have to do this, and I need your support, because if there's no aid going to the deep jungles where it's not just beside the roads, you have to trek for 7 hours. You have to climb an elevation of 1,000 feet to reach there. I hope and pray to God that every bit can come and every needy person can get the refuge they need, the aid they need, the bags of rice, the medicine, the water, the sanitation system, the faucet, the hand pump, and hope to God we ask every single prime minister and president in this world, especially India and China. Myanmar is able to do this because they are under the protection of India and China. You've got to write to the Chinese and the Indian embassies too, not just Justin Trudeau. You've got to pressure them and ask, what is their government doing by letting Aung San Suu Kyi get away with this? Please raise your voice. The fate of millions depend on you. Thank you.